Today we're making a mini hanging plant. These are really small, so it's perfect for decorating your car mirror or just hanging up in your room. You can find all the materials I used and the free written pattern with extra tips at vivcrochets.com or linked in the description. For this project, I used a total of about 15 grams of yarn, and I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in Light Sage and in Cafe Latte. And this is a medium weight yarn, and it recommends a 5.5mm hook, but I will be using a 4mm hook to make it smaller. And I'll also be using some scissors and a little bit of fiberfill. First, we're going to make the pot, and I have my brown yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot. So place the yarn over your hand with the tail end at the bottom. Hold the yarn with your thumb, then we'll grab it from the top. Wrap it around 2 fingers to form an X. Hold it with your pinky. Then with your hook, go under one side of the X, then over, grab the other side and pull it through. Then remove your fingers and tighten the knot. Now we're going to chain 4. To chain, yarn over and pull through. Again, yarn over, pull through. Then we'll do 2 more. Now we have 4 chains, and we're going to slip stitch to that first chain that we made so we can form a ring. So insert your hook into this 4th chain, and we're going to go through the V and under the loop in the back as well. So we're under these 2 loops. Then with our thumb and middle finger, grab the 4 chains and the tail end together and pull it away from the hook. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through both loops, and now we should be pinching the center of the ring. And now we can work into this ring, and we're going to start the first round by chaining 2. And we're going to do 12 double crochets into this ring. To do a double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook into that ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we'll do another one, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So this first chain 2 does not count as our double crochet. We're going to start counting from here. So now we have 2, and we're going to do 10 more until we have 12 in this ring. So once we have our 12 double crochets, we can slip stitch to the first one we made. So here you can see the 2 chains that we made here, and then the first double crochet, and at the top there's a V. We're going to go under the V at the top of that stitch, then yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on our hook, and tighten. And now you should have a circle. Now we'll do our second round, and to start our second round we're going to chain 2. And then that same stitch that we slip stitched to is going to be our first stitch, and we're going to do a double crochet into that same space. So yarn over, go back into that same space, and do a double crochet. Then we're going to do another one into that same space. So now we have 2 double crochets into the first stitch. And that's also called an increase, when we put 2 into 1 stitch. And we're going to increase all the way around. So this next stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. And make sure you go under both loops of the V at the top of each stitch. Do 1 double crochet, then go back into that same space and do our second double crochet. Then we'll move on to the next stitch. And do 1 double crochet, then do another one into that same stitch. And we're going to do 2 into every single stitch around. So I've just gone all the way around with an increase in every stitch, and we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. So again, go under that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop on our hook and tighten it. So the first round had 12 stitches, the second has 24. Now we're going to chain the string to hang the pot. So this can be any length that you want. So I've done 68 chains, and it's about 32 centimeters. So this is the length that fits my car mirror, but if your car mirror is slightly different, then you can adjust the number of chains. And this will be attached to the other side like this to form a loop. So this loop must be able to fit over whatever you want to hang it over. So now we're going to go back to the circle, and we're going to count 11 stitches to the right or to the left, it doesn't matter. So after where this chain comes out, we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And in the 12th, we're going to insert our hook, and we're going to do another slip stitch. So we'll yarn over and pull through both loops. So now our chain is connected to the other side. And from here, we're going to start the third round of the pot. So round 3, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to do just 1 double crochet all the way around. But instead of going under both loops of each V, we're going to go in the back loops only. So starting with the loop that we just slip stitched to with this chain, we're going to yarn over. Instead of into that same space under these 2 loops, we're going to go from the top through the V and under just the back loop. So just 1 loop, and we'll do a double crochet. Then move on to the next stitch, yarn over, go in from the top, through the V, and out the back, and do a double crochet. And we'll do the same thing all the way around. And you should see that it's curving like this. And once we reach the stitch with the chain in it, just move it over to the front. And then we can work into the chain where we slip stitch to close round 2. Then we'll continue working around in the back loops only. And after doing our final double crochet, we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. And now we can do the fourth round. For round 4, we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do 1 double crochet all the way around under both loops. So the first stitch is the one we just slip stitched to. Just do 1 double crochet, and in the next just 1 double crochet. Once we finish our 24 stitches, we'll slip stitch. For the 5th round, we'll do the exact same thing. We'll chain 2 and do just 1 double crochet into each stitch. And at the end, we'll slip stitch. Now it should look like this. And we're going to pause here. So pull on your hook. So there are 2 rounds left, but we're not going to finish that because we need to leave this open so we can put the leaves in. So we'll set this aside and we'll grab our green yarn. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Some of you may know that I recently opened up my very own website for free written crochet patterns, and I've been struggling with getting it to show up in Google search for more people to see it, but Skillshare has made it so easy for me to learn how to do that. I'm currently taking a class called WordPress SEO Simplified by Ken Bessa, and I'm learning a lot. Skillshare has thousands of courses where you can learn about crafts like crocheting and knitting, or other things like freelance, productivity, and so much more. It's the perfect place to level up your career, skills, hobbies, passions, or side hustles. They also have learning paths where they pick out classes for you to take in a specific order to master a skill. It's summer break, so many of us have extra time to work on ourselves and our hobbies. I will definitely be taking more of these online classes to improve my website, and I might also look into taking some photography classes so I can take nicer photos of my crochet projects. The first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Get started today. Now we're going to make a string of pearls, and I have my green yarn, and we're going to make a slip knot. So again, place the yarn over your hand with the tail end at the bottom. Hold it with your thumb. Wrap the top around 2 fingers to form an X. Go under one side of the X and over, grab the other side, pull it through, remove your fingers, and tighten the knot. Now we're going to chain 4. And like we did with the pot, we're going to slip stitch to the first chain that we made. And we're going to go in through the V and under the loop in the back as well. Then we'll slip stitch. This is our first pearl. And we can add more pearls by chaining 3. And this is the space between the first and our second pearl. You can add more chains to make the spacing bigger or do less chains for closer pearls. So I have 3, and then we're going to cover that third chain, and we're going to chain 4. And we're going to slip stitch to the 4th chain from the hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's also where my finger is pointing to. And we're always going to go under the loop in the back. So there is my second pearl, and we can keep adding more. So again, I'll do the spacing. So I'll chain 3. And again, you can change that number of chains to change the spacing. And I'll cover the 3rd chain and then chain 4. And then we'll slip stitch to the 4th chain from the hook. So that's my third pearl. And you can keep adding more by doing the same thing. Chain 3, cover it, chain 4, slip stitch to the first chain of the chain 4. And that's our fourth pearl. And you can keep going as long as you want. And there's 5. So you can stop whenever you want and you can keep going as long as you want. But when you're ready to finish your string, we're going to chain the length at the top. So I'm just going to chain 3, but you can do however many chains you want. And at this point is where it will come out of the soil, and that chain is how long you want it to be before the first pearl starts. You can chain 3 or you can chain 5 or however many chains you want, and then we're going to cut our yarn. Then pull through with your hook and tighten it. And there's our string of 5 pearls. And with each string, we do need to hide our loose end. So the end where we finished off with the chains and then the knot, we're not going to hide that loose end. But on this end where we started, with our first pearl, we're going to have to hide this loose end. So you can use a yarn needle, but a hook is fine too. We're going to go under any loop close to the loose end and just pull it through. And then we're going to go under another loop and pull it through. And we're just going around the chains in this pearl and just weaving the yarn around it. And you can keep going if you want to secure it even more, but that should be enough. And we're going to just trim the rest of it. And the loose end is hidden. And we're going to do that with all of our strings. So I've done 10 strings total. This one has 3, then 4, 5, 6, and 7 pearls. And one has 3 chains at the end, and the other has 5. So even if they have the same number of pearls, they are a different length. And once you have your strings done, we can attach them to the pot. So the loose end that we left on is what we use to attach to the pot. So take your hook and go in through the bottom and out through the hole. Then we'll grab one of our strings, loop the loose end into our hook, and pull it through. And we'll pull it until the first chain. And that's how we're going to attach all of our strings. So we'll go back into that hole, out the top, grab a string, hook the loose end onto our hook, and pull it through. And we're going to attach all of our strings. And we can grab more than one to make it faster. And once you've pulled them all the way through, we're going to grab the brown loose end that was here when we started this ring. And we're going to tighten this circle by pulling on this brown loose end. So just pull on the brown, and that should tighten this hole. And then to secure all of our loose ends, we're going to tie these together. And make sure to pull it down to the base. And we can do a second knot to make it more secure. And you can tie it one more time to make it even more secure. And then we'll stuff all of our loose ends into the pot, and we can finish our last 2 rounds in the brown. So for the 6th round, we're going to chain 2. And now we're going to do a decrease in every stitch. So to do a decrease, yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's our first decrease, and we're going to do another one over the next 2 stitches. So again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. And we're going to do that all the way around. So after our final decrease, we should have 12 stitches left, and we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch we made. Now you should see that the hole is getting smaller, and we can start stuffing it now. So grab your fiber fill and stuff the pot. And make sure you don't overstuff it. The top should be flat. That should be enough. Then we can do our 7th and final round. So we're going to chain 2 again. And we're going to repeat last round. So we're going to decrease in every stitch. And you should have 6 stitches left in the end. And we can slip stitch. And cut your yarn about this long. And pull the yarn through. Now we should have a very small hole, and we can sew it with this loose end. So with our hook, we're going to go through the V of this stitch and under the top loop, and pull our yarn through. Then go over to the next stitch, through the V and under just the top loop, pull the yarn through, and we'll repeat that around. And once we've gone around, we can pull on this loose end to tighten the hole. The hole should close up, and now we just need to tie a knot so this doesn't come loose. Next to where this loose end is coming out, we're going to go under a loop and pull the yarn through, but not all the way. We're going to leave a little loop, and we're going to pull the tail through that loop to make a knot. And if you want, you can repeat it again for a double knot, and then we can insert a hook from the top and come out next to that loose end. Loop the end of it onto our hook and pull it through. And then we can shape our pot. We can also move around the strings. And since we did 10, we can try to do 5 on each side and mix the short ones with the long ones. And we're finished. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.